Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to a slightly more serious topic than you used to. I'm going to give you an example in a minute of a YouTuber in the past who essentially burnt out, who had to stop, otherwise they would have just gone into, well, borderline depression, high anxiety, all that sort of stuff, to the point where it really did nearly ruin their life. And this is something I always keep up here as a warning as to what can happen on social media, specifically with me, of course, on YouTube. You see, you look at this and it's like an unwavering sea of calmness and cool awesomeness. How can this person ever get anxious or depressed or any of the old mental health awareness week sort of stuff that I'm about to talk about? And before anybody tells me that mental awareness week was last week, yeah, when I'm filming it, it's that week now. It's just when I'm uploading it. Let's just pretend it's last week, shall we? And ignore that side of things. But this, again, joking aside, is something that I don't talk about. I'm one of those that just says, oh, just get on with it. That doesn't really help anyone, does it? I mean, it works for some people, it works for me. But ultimately, when it comes to YouTube, social media, this mental health awareness week of which I've been asked to talk about, it needs more people to basically be honest. I mean, this is something that's not in my field of vision. It is in my wife's. She works in the emergency services. She's working to help people as like a counsellor. And she's even starting the Samaritan soon. So this is something that's very much on her radar as something that needs to be taken seriously. So I thought I'd do a completely unedited, which means I'm going to ramble, video just to basically give you an example of what I've said, the person that I use as a warning system, if you will. And just the issues about being online, about putting yourself out there for all to see and for all to criticise. In fact, you know what, let's just skip the intro and start off with it. The example. So this is a YouTuber, and I'm going to anonymise this so you don't know who I'm talking about. And like many channels I've watched over the last, 15 years, 20 years of YouTube, long before I started anyway, they've come and gone. But this guy, he was, let's say he was into his Fords. So that's what his channel started out as. He had a Ford, he went to Ford Meets, he was known in the Ford community forums and things like that, you know, when people used to use online forums. Essentially, he was a big Ford fan, and that's what he built the channel on. And he got to the point where he was big enough, and he went, you know what, I'm going to quit my supermarket job. He was, relatively young, and I'm going to try it full time. I'm going to see how it goes. And for a year or two, maybe a bit longer, it was a complete success. He was getting lots of views. People liked him. He was getting invites from manufacturers, not just Ford, but other ones, and saying, do you want to try this car? Do you want to try this car? Do you want to come to this event? So he became a car YouTuber, like myself, if you will. And then it kind of started to go wrong. So some of this is what he's told me, and some of it I'm just kind of guessing, but the point is perfectly valid either way. The original kind of viewers of the channel when he was small, before he went full-time and whatnot, were obviously Ford fans. When he started to branch out into other stuff, he got called a sellout and various other things by the people on the Ford side of things, because he was said to, well, you meant to be doing Ford, now you're doing every other manufacturer. You're just doing it for views. Of which he said, well, of course I am. This is my job, this is my income. Views equal income. Asking me to ignore a clear source of interest from many people, not just views for me, is bonkers. It's like asking a salesperson to not sell as much as they do. It's their job. And as a YouTuber, views and subscribers equal income. And then what happened is something that I think anyone who's got, who's self-employed, who's got her own business or something like that, would probably recognise. And before I go any further, I should point out, I'm not saying this is the hardest job in the world and you nurses, oh, you don't know, you were born with your easy job. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just talking about what I know. But in his case, he got to the point where, and again, I will recognise this, it was called the grind, the churn. You see, with YouTube, and I guess other social media, but specifically with YouTube, if you don't upload on a regular basis. So I do one every Tuesday and Friday, or Sunday for members. I don't know why I started to do 2 a week, because I really don't have the time, but that's what I've chosen to do. And if you don't hit every Tuesday, every Friday, every week, then you get dropped by YouTube. The algorithm, if you will, stops pushing your videos. And as the vast majority of views come from non-subscribers, that's very important. So if I took, let's say, 2 weeks off for whatever reason, a holiday, illness, a wedding, a divorce, take your pick, it would probably take me 1 to 2 months of putting videos out regularly for me to get back to where I was before I took that holiday off. So you have to keep on hitting the mark. That sort of grind, that churn of having to have content all the time, that really got to him. He just didn't realise it was getting to him. This whole anxiousness of when you upload a video and go, right, okay, I'm really proud of this one. Why is nobody watching it? Why isn't YouTube pushing it? Why is it not doing as good as last week's videos? What have I done wrong? And that's something which it does creep into your mind. Why is this not performing? I mean, if I look at my analytics right now, I'm not really getting as many subscribers subscribing over the last 28 days. So I can see the analytics and it tells me how many subscribers I get over 28 days and whether it's above or below average. I've seen that 4, maybe even 5 times higher than it is now. I have absolutely no idea why. It might be the type of videos like this that I'm putting out. It might be just the time of year. It might be the YouTube algorithm that's not pushing me or anything like that. And it's ultimately why clickbait works. I used to worry about that. I used to think, what's going on? What's happening? Just like he did, and think, oh crap, that's not good. How can I change this? How can I flip it around? He then got to the point where his missus, and he'd just had a young baby after doing this a few years, they were just always arguing. He was ignoring his family and friends. He never saw anyone because it was video, content, video, content. It became an obsession for him, to the point where I think he said it hit home for him personally. And again, he didn't know this was happening. It was there, but it wasn't, if you know what I mean. And he was having another argument with his missus, who was holding his baby, and she said, the first thing you pick up in the morning isn't your child, it's your phone. It's that bloody channel. Checking the subscribers, checking the viewers, checking your videos, checking your comments. And it's the last thing you touch before you go to bed. Now that's a bit of a modern day kind of mobile phone thing, but to a major level when obviously this is giving you all your information. It's literally part of your job. I mean, if I think about some of the jobs I've had in the past, I'll say what my wife does. She works for the emergency services, way more stressful than the day-to-day job I have. But thankfully, I guess, in some ways, when she comes home, the job's done. You can't bring it home with you. You literally, even if she wanted to, she couldn't do any work from home, given that job. Obviously, you can think about it and worry about stuff, but you can't, I can not get away from this. I'm always on it, if you will. You can't take a few hours off without literally turning your phone off. But even then, you kind of, I'll just turn it back on again and see what's going on. So I think that got to him a lot. And when she said that, you're picking your phone up before your child, that's when it kind of all spiraled down for him. And ultimately, he said, what am I doing? I'm ruining my life at the expense of worrying about, ultimately, something that's not that important. Not the money side, not the income, the job he's doing, but the views, the subscribers. He was still bringing stuff in. He was still getting invites. It's just, you do get obsessed. And that is the red flag that I always keep up here in terms of, I've got a full-time job. Monday to Friday, I work in IT. I'm a geek. In the evening and weekends is when I do the YouTube stuff. And because I'm an idiot, I don't have time to do anything else. It's a second job. It's a second business, whatever you want to call it. And that, for me, is the key difference between myself and him. He was full-time. It was how he paid the bills, if you will, along with his missus. And it's the same with me. But I can stop tomorrow because my wife works and I have my full-time job. If I stop tomorrow, the bills are getting paid. The mortgage is taken care of, so to speak. We'd have a lot less coming in, but ultimately, we're not going to be homeless. I don't have to rush out for another job. And that's maybe, if I think about it, if I'm honest, why I have yet to go full-time. I might never go full-time because not only am I giving up a career, which I don't really want to, but it then changes things, doesn't it, I guess? When you're reliant on something, it's very different from, well, if it hasn't got the views I thought it would, then I'll just keep going. That's kind of the space I'm in right now. And as I said, the whole YouTube thing is absolutely fantastic. As you know, this is painting a very bad picture about social media. Ultimately, I see this as a massively positive thing that I've done over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Some of the stuff that I've got to do, you know, I've flown to America for 4 days on first-class flights, a bed on a plane. I'm never going to be paying for that, not me. And, you know, talking to Bill Ford in LA at the same time and giving a £110,000 car to drive around in. It's bucket list stuff, pretty much. I wouldn't have done any of that if it wasn't for YouTube. So this is overwhelmingly a good thing for me. But as we're talking about the Mental Health Awareness Week, which was last week, you do have to be careful, because it doesn't matter even if you're enjoying something, it can still enter your mind. I still get, I guess if I look at it from this way, anxious about a big upload, a car event, a car event, for example, that changes things. So, for example, the last one that we did of any note, really, we flew to Frankfurt. We drove around Frankfurt in this car for several hours. You know, wrote everything down, got what we were doing. Then we had a nice meal and met all the other people on the event and the PR people. Had a really good time. Stayed in a posh hotel overnight, and then the next day, you've got like, all right, I've got 2 hours to do all the filming. So it's like, okay, let's make sure we get everything done in that period. Let's make sure it works. Let's make sure that something like an SD card stopping working doesn't render the entire trip pointless because of a corrupt memory card. And then you fly back home from Frankfurt to Manchester, drive back from Manchester to home. Essentially 2 full days, flights, all that included, all for a 15-20 minute video. And you think, right, this needs to count. All that effort, all that investment, hopefully people will watch it. And that is, I've come to realise that's not, effort doesn't equal guaranteed success. You know, clickbait is one thing which I don't want to do, but it does work. You do become anxious over, is that going to work? Is that going to placate my subscribers and at the same time appeal to new viewers and people who hopefully will subscribe? Because it's probably between 60 and 80% of views I get, and most channels I think are the same, aren't subscribers. So you're always trying to appeal to that new market without forgetting your existing one. And I think that's something that got to him as well, because you can't please everybody. I've done videos which some people have gone, this is brilliant, well done, and other people go, can you not do these again? I don't sign up for this. It's just part of what being on YouTube is about, you know. I don't mind criticism. Please don't think that for anyone on social media, not just myself, you don't criticise anyone. They're too unstable or fragile. Criticism is key. I've changed some of what I do because of criticism. Obviously, there's the trolls that you get on the internet and that, you know, wish you harm and things like that. That's just, well, I guess like the police, you get insults, it's just got to wash off your back. It's normal, isn't it, to get insulted online, because there's lots of keyboard warriors out there that are very tough behind one of these things. You take it home with you, you're in bed with it in terms of you're on your phone, you're filming, you're editing. But that's a choice, I guess. I could make my life easier by going full-time YouTube or by quitting YouTube. But I don't want to, because it gives me cool stuff. But then I have to be careful that I don't miss out on what's going on at home. You know, family and friends and stuff I've had to put off many times in terms of, I can't do that, I'm going to a car event or whatever. Now I've started to change it a little bit. The last 4 car events I've been invited to, although I've kind of done the cars anyway, so I didn't need to do them again, I've said no to. I can't do it, because the only way for me to do it would be to take a day off work or give up the very few days I have at home. It's a weird one, is this mental health thing. I'm not used to talking to it, which is why this is a complete and total ramble. But ultimately, I think if you see success, maybe that's part of the social media trap. When it was just before lockdown, in fact, it was the first event I got invited on the America thing I mentioned earlier. Hi, this is Ford. Would you like to come to LA? Yes, please. 4 days, posh hotel, first class flights. You know, we went and saw a film at Paramount. The Ford versus Ferrari thing had just come out. We got to watch that before anyone else. Talk with Bill Ford. Talk with the entire team that designed the Mustang Mach-E. It was astonishing. And that was the first thing I'd been invited on ever. I was the only person in the UK from YouTube invited. I'm like, wow, is this what it's like being on YouTube? And then when I came back, obviously my head's like, this is going to be brilliant. And a week later, I got invited to the south of France by Peugeot for the E2008 and flew there, stayed in my own little kind of apartment with a pool and a marble bath. I think it was about €1,000 a night. And I'm thinking, is this YouTube? Is this why all the youth of today think it's a shortcut to success? This is amazing. I won't be working in IT for long if this is what someone with 10 to 15,000 subscribers get. And you think, right, you're on this ascendancy. And then all of a sudden, nothing happens. There's no events. Your views drop for reasons that you will never know. So it's like coming back off holiday. It's a proper come down. We've just done Fully Charged Live and the Harrogate North one. And it was great fun. Met lots of people, talked to lots of people who watched the channel. Didn't mind any of it at all. In fact, I quite like it. It's great fun to actually physically talk to people who normally you only see the comments of. And it reinvigorates you and goes, I'm liking this. You look at Fully Charged and see what is possible. You look at other successful channels and think, I want to get there. If I'm honest, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers just so I can get that silly silver play button. I don't know why. I guess then at least I'll have a memento for whenever I stop this whole YouTube thing. But in terms of talking about what it does to your head, I think as that first example, kind of taught me, you've just got to not take it too seriously. Like anything in life. I mean, he was pretty much into clinical depression from what he said. His anxiety was through the roof every time he posted a video. He just didn't know it was happening to him. It was his missus that snapped him out of it, I guess. So how do you stop that from happening? I have no idea. Maybe because I'm not full-time, because I don't rely on it. That won't be a thing. Maybe it's just other things going on. It won't be a single point in his life that created that, I guess. Everyone is different. I am one of those, like I said at the beginning, where I'll just say, just get on with it, will you? Slap yourself in the face. There's other people out there that are way worse off than yourself, so just get on with it. But sometimes talking about it is better, as my wife constantly reminds me. But, that's not very blokey then, is it really? So I don't know, ultimately, what I'm saying in this video, other than I'm just talking about what I've been asked to. This won't get any views, I guarantee it. Well, I don't know what title I'm going to pick yet, but ultimately it'll be a very low view for my typical amount of views that I would get on a video. Because who wants to listen to this? Who wants to click on anything to do with mental health on YouTube that's not actually telling you anything useful? But, I don't mind. That's what I think I need to remember. If I do something that I don't mind doing or I enjoy doing, because work sometimes is boring, then maybe that's the key. Trying to please everyone, trying to do that brilliant video at the expense of not spending any time with your family, maybe that's what you need to stop. I guess it's that fine line, isn't it, between income, paying the bills, and doing what you like. Yeah, but if there's one thing I will say to anybody that's even thinking about starting a social media thing, 1, it's not a shortcut to success. 2, it's really boring for the most part. I hate editing. 3, it'll be a lot harder than you think. 4, you really do need to not take anything too seriously in terms of criticism, outright abuse, things like that. It is the internet. And 5, just do, and it sounds a bit cliche, do what you enjoy. I don't particularly enjoy doing whiteboard videos. I like what comes from doing one, but it's a lot of work. It's when someone watches it and goes, that was really good. When someone comes up to you fully charged and gone, I loved that video to the point where I got an EV or solar panels. It makes you think, yes, it's worth it. But if I did something just for I don't know, views, Tesla, like I said, anything with Tesla in it. If I did Tesla this, Tesla this and this video, I'd hate doing it, but I'd get lots of people watching it. They probably wouldn't stick around because there's plenty of Tesla stuff out there, but you get my point. You have to concentrate on and keep doing what you want to do, even if it annoys some people that are watching, even if some people unsubscribe. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this stage because I don't know really what more to say. This is out of my comfort zone. I don't talk about mental health. I'm fine. Again, you know, Bambi crying, didn't affect me one bit. It has to be taken seriously. It is getting more and more of a topic in the world, isn't it? You know, don't be afraid about talking about if you are upset or if you are feeling anxious or slightly depressed. You've just got to talk to people, I guess. So by hiding away on your phone, that's not really going to help, is it, I suppose? Right, okay. I really don't know if this is going to be of any use or any interest, but I'm not doing it for that. So it's going to go up anyway. So thanks for watching, if you still are. Normal service will be resumed next Tuesday when, assuming it goes ahead, I've just filmed a video that has heavy testicle shaving involved. And I'm just going to leave it like that. You'll know what I mean when you see it. It's not an OnlyFans thing, trust me. It is sort of related to the channel. So anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm going to have a beer now. One of the many in that cabinet, all from Yorkshire. So cheers, keep well, talk to people, and don't be afraid of saying I need help. And maybe that's the key. Sometimes just asking for help. Anyway, thanks for watching, bye.